Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we are going to take a look at my PlayStation 4 Villains. Basically, there's a request that's being asked from time to time. It's for me to show all my characters, like to make a video with all my characters. It's a little hard to do for a few reasons. The first reason is that I have a lot of characters, so if I do that, I'm going to end up with a pretty long video, which is not really an issue in itself. But sadly, with when I try to edit videos on the PlayStation 4, if the video is too long or if there's too many editing done in the video, it messes up the video somehow. And also, even with Movie Maker, I have a few issues lately when I try to edit some pretty big videos. So sadly, I made a video before the holidays about my PlayStation 4 heroes. Today I'm going to make a video about my PlayStation 4 villains, and I'll try to make a follow-up with my PC heroes and then my PC villains. We'll see how it works out. Maybe someday I'll be able to make a video with all those characters in the same video. But for now, let's take a look at the PlayStation 4 villains. Also, another request that a lot of people make is to take a look at my bases. So I'll try to take a look at least some of the most less interesting bases I have with my evil villains. So let's get started with our Dark Multiverse character. Basically, this is the character that I use to try and recreate some of the biggest cosmic villains. Yeah, you'll see what I mean. Like right now, we recreated somewhat a version of the Anti-Monitor when he was part of the evil Sinestro Yellow Lantern Corps. I took a few liberties. I wanted to use some of the gold material that we can use right now. Which is another reason to make that video is that we got a whole bunch of new materials lately, so I'm going to be able to show off at least some of those new materials with at least some of my characters. And also here I'm also showing one of the auras. Basically, this is the blue plasmic aura. There's a few players sometimes who ask me what is a good aura for a quantum using character. The blue plasmic aura is a pretty good aura with that power. It pretty much matches a bit with the colors that the power actually uses. So it kind of complements and matches very well with the actual quantum powers, as you can see. And as you can see, I'm using also the cosmic material. The cosmic material was a little difficult to come by. It was pretty expensive. I was able to purchase the cosmic material from the broker for three of my characters. Much later, I tried to purchase another more, but by now, the last time I checked, the cosmic material was like 300 million on the broker. So buying another cosmic material, I don't think that will be an option, unless at some point we actually get the ability to be able to purchase styles from other characters. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. And of course, I have an evil dark side armory. Again, this is pretty much a character that I'm trying to use to recreate some big cosmic character. At some point, I had a Galactus armory. I tried to recreate some Celestials. Again, some pretty gigantic cosmic beings from either the Marvel universe or the DC universe. And so for Darkseid, we can create a pretty cool looking version of Darkseid. Doesn't look exactly like any version of Darkseid right now, but it's close enough that anyone who sees this would probably think that, oh yeah, this is Darkseid. And this is a bit closer to the look that the Anti-Monitor had towards the start of the Green Lantern Sinestro War. I took a few liberties with his other armory because I wanted to use the gold material. But here you can see something that is a lot closer to the look that the character had during the Green Lantern Sinestro War. I have the full anti-monitor set of gear, so I could probably use the anti-monitor set of gear completely. But I prefer to mix and match it with some Sinestro Core style. I think it looks a bit better. My fourth armory, I guess I could show it. It's not really a look that I'm planning to use. Basically, I was planning to make a video about some of the Dark Knight's Metal Batman. So it's still a work in progress. I'm nowhere near. I guess this is about as close as I could come to the Devastator, but I could probably make a better version. So I'll try to do that in the future. Let's go back to our main armory. And let's go through our base just a little bit. As you can see, I have a few base items from the Anti-Monitor Anniversary. And of course, I have all my armories are in this base. I do have another base with this character. And of course, the Orrery of the Multiverse. I love this base items. It's probably my favorite base item somehow. Soon we're going to be able to have 16 armories and one base, so I might add a few armories at some point. I'm still debating whether I should or not. As you can see, I have quite a few Apocalypse base items. I was able to get those playing the broker quite a lot. Took a lot of time and quite a lot of efforts, but I was able to get quite a few Apocalypse base items. And of course, I have a billion TVs. Those were some of the best base items we could use to plaster on the walls for quite some time. So I do have quite a few of those. In the case of this character, he's using the crafting stations. Although there will be quite a few changes soon when it comes to the bases. There's a whole bunch of things that will change in the bases soon. I'll try to make a video in about 2 weeks. We should be able to see some of those changes. I'll show you a quick look of my other base, and then we'll switch to another character. So roughly what I do is that in this case, for this character, I have one base where he can do his crafting, and another base where I've set up my broker. Here I have a whole bunch of, again, I have a few Orrery of the Multiverse, but also I have a whole bunch of various Lantern emblems, a few nice statues, as you can see. Of course, there's a few pretty big Lantern-based items. I should have played the Valentine Seasonal a lot more in order to be able to get a lot more consoles like this one. Sadly, I was a bit of a slacker this year, I suppose. But there's still plenty of room for improvement and for adding decoration to this lair. So like a lot of the lairs that I have right now, this is pretty much a work in progress. So pretty much, I have somewhat a similar setup in most of my lairs. Like in this case here, we have the auction house. Although soon we're going to be able to have 10 amenities in our lairs, so I will have to pretty much rearrange my lairs once that happens. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. And I kind of liked the thing I did with the teleporter here. Basically, I was able to turn the teleporter into an antimatter portal. I wasn't able to do that for all. Basically, I tried to do that with all my villains. I didn't do it with all my villains just yet, but I did it with at least a few. And here we have my character, Kid Zoom. I should probably have renamed it. Originally, it was a Reverse Flash character. But the way the character works now is that he's pretty much any evil speedster I could come up with. Although in the TV show they pretty much split the character in two. They pretty much made the Reverse Flash and Zoom two distinct characters. But I guess that's that they took inspiration from the comics a little bit for that. Here, this is more a Black Flash look than the actual Zoom. But Zoom, the actual Zoom style from the TV show actually lacks contrast quite a bit. So I made sort of an amalgam of the Black Flash and Zoom together. And of course, this is pretty much my Reverse Flash look. And I used the gold material to make it a little cooler. I would need something, a better pair of gloves. I would need to be able to have like only half the gloves gold so that I could keep some red to the edge of the gloves. But sadly, the way the materials work right now, it's not really an option. But I'll try to come up with something eventually. As you can see with the gold material, we can make a pretty good version of the evil Reverse Flash. Of course, in order to be able to do that, you have to use the flash emblem. But the flash emblem looks pretty cool in black and red. And of course, lately we got the speed metal set of gear, which is inspired by our friend the evil Red Death. But I am not too crazy about the Red Death headpiece. I tried to use the Black Flash headpiece, but it created a bit of clipping that I wasn't too crazy about. So I went with the Johnny Quick headpiece instead, and I thought it kind of looked pretty good. And of course, the bats in the back, those are priceless. I'm using them on a few characters, and it's pretty awesome the way they look. And of course, this being the reverse flash, I went with yellow with a bit of red as opposed to having the whole suit red, like it is in the comics. You'll see I did something similar with my last look. Like here we have the Johnny Quick, but again I went with the reverse colors that Johnny Quick uses. Basically, again, the reverse flash is yellow and a bit of red, so I went with that as opposed to the actual colors that our friend Johnny Quick uses. And I think this is pretty much all the enhanced version of the Johnny Quick style, which has a lot of glitter and shiny to it, which is kind of nice, I think. For the base here, it's still quite a work in progress. Here I barely have a few flash base items, like the Cosmic Treadmill. This is an awesome base item. I couldn't believe that we got this base item. Of course, there's the Orrery of the Multiverse, which I've already mentioned. But a lot of this base is still under construction, I guess you could say. Like we have the Time Sphere, which was very appropriate for this character. But other than that, like here, don't have anything yet worthwhile. And the same with this down here. But sooner or later, we will add more base items to this little lair. And here we have our friend Harley Quinn. This is pretty much the only character I have right now who's using the dive. The dive, for those who don't know, is that it's the smaller version of the lair. So you can see it's still pretty small and there's not that much in it just yet. But sooner or later, I will give her a proper base. Basically, I'm waiting to be able to get her a base on Arkham Island. Sadly, I need a few marks of victory for that, and I don't have those marks of victory just yet. I also have the proper Harley Quinn headpiece, but she has to be level 30 in order to be able to use it, so she can't use it just yet. And also, she's using a baseball bat. I have to admit, I don't recall where I got it. I got it from one of the missions that I played, but which mission, I truly don't remember. I wish I had like a two-handed hammer like what she uses normally, but for now the baseball bat will do the trick. And I have the basically the Harley Quinn inspired headpiece, which I got from Prometheum lockboxes. But in the long term, I'll probably try to get her some Joker and or Harley Quinn inspired style, obviously. And here you can see I'm using some of the DC Bombshell Harley Quinn style. Actually, I'm pretty much using all of it, the exception being the headpiece again. I guess I should purchase the hair, the Harley Quinn hair from the marketplace, and then use the actual headpiece for this style. Maybe some other time. And of course, you can see some base items we got from the 25th anniversary of Harley Quinn, which was also during Batman Day. So Batman Day last year was a mixture of Batman Day and Harley Quinn Day, so I was able to get a few nice poster for a base. Could have sworn I had more, but oh well. And here we have the evil Black Lantern Batman. It's a character I used at some point for quite a bit. I was very tempted to make it my main villain for a while, and I guess for a while it was. If I'd been a bit smarter, I would have used it a lot more. Basically, early on when I started using this character, it was the character that was giving me the most views. Not necessarily the most views, but the better performance. It did have quite as many views as some of my other characters, but he had a really good percentage of views. Like basically, people who would watch the Black Lantern Batman videos would watch like 99% of the video, as opposed to I have some other characters. Like whenever I would make a video about Wolverine, I would have like a thousand people who watch the video, but they would watch like 5 minutes and then switch to something else. As opposed to this character, whenever I would make a video with this character, he was performing really well. So if I had been a bit more, I guess, business savvy or business oriented, I would have used this character quite a lot more. But what can you do? And here I'm using this is my healer armory, where I'm actually using the Black Lantern emblem that we got from time capsules. So I was able to make a one look with the Black Lantern chest piece that we got in the game, and I was able to use the Stalwart Defender chest and the Black Lantern emblem that we can get from the broker. So I thought it was a nice looking Black Lantern inspired look with our friend the Batman. And of course you can see on the wall I have the Black Lantern emblem. Again, I had to purchase that from the broker, although I think there is one mission or one set of collections that actually give you that. I forget. Oh, and there's this portrait. You can get this portrait at Halloween. And holy crap, do I like this portrait. Of course, the poster we got from the BVS swag bag, which sadly is no longer available. I have a bat signal here, but sadly I cannot activate this one. And of course, some evil black tendrils. I'm gonna have to do something with that. Either put a base items in here or something. We'll see. Some nice Batman, again a bat signal, but this time the light. This one, oh yeah, we can interact with this one. Again, this is one of my bases that could use a lot more decoration, but it's a process. In the long run, I see this Universe Online. I often mention that DC Universe Online is a marathon, not a sprint. So yeah, in the short run, I still have a lot of bases that need to be decorated a bit. But in the long run, I'll get around to decorating them all. Of course, here we can see our training dummy. So I'll let you guess what this base is used for. Here we have one of my newest character. It's a character that I've created a bit before the anniversary event. Actually, I created this character like last fall, before we even knew that we would have some Brainiac base items. So when we got a whole bunch of Brainiac base items, then I knew that I had to get a lot of them to be able to decorate this character's lair. Of course, I made two looks. For the emblem, I'm using the Shade, the Changing Man emblem, but it kind of works really well as a Brainiac emblem as well. And of course, as you can see behind, I have two armories with this character. And I think it looks, either version gives us a pretty nice looking female Brainiac version. I don't have many female characters, so hopefully in the long run I will be able to. The thing is, often I'll make videos showing off styles for male characters, but I have to come up with more. I have to gather more styles with my female characters so that I can show off more styles for the female characters. Right now, also, if you're wondering, I'm using the scuba gear. It's just the scuba style, like for the chest piece and the pants. That's the scuba style. It's a style, sadly, that you can only get during the summer seasonal. So a lot of people usually seem to enjoy that style. And I was able to hide some amenities within, as you can see, within base items. So I was able to create pretty much in this case, a vendor that is pretty much a Brainiac vendor. So as you can see, I got a whole bunch of Brainiac-based items during the anniversary event. Sadly, in order to get more, well, I guess I could purchase more on the broker, or I'm gonna have to wait until next year. Again, as you can see, I was able to hide my bank within a base item. Obviously, this is still in the process of being decorated. I'm missing something here. Not sure what yet, but sooner or later, I'll find something that will work well enough. So I was to have here. Obviously, there's my crafting station. So I was able to make a pretty nice looking Brainiac base, but it took quite a lot of Brainiac based items to do that. And of course, I was able to turn my teleporter into an antimatter portal. Although, as you can see, it doesn't work quite as well. Depending on the teleporter you have, some teleporters are much bigger than others, so it's kind of hard to pull off depending on which base you're actually using. And here we have the evil Owlman. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have a purple aura, but nah, I wanted to use an aura, and this was the, let's say, better option I had. Although I'm able to use the silver material on most of the, well, on some pieces of the character. I wish the gray on the chest piece could be silver. Sadly, these are the limitations we have within this Universe Online right now. If we put the silver material on a piece of gear, it covers the entire piece of gear with the silver material. So there's no option right now to be able to just put the gray part that you see on the chest silver. But who knows, maybe in the long run we'll be able to do that. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. And here I made a different version using some Lethal Zealot pieces of gear, basically just the headpiece. I guess some of the gear for the Court of Owl doesn't really look like Owlman, but it is still Owl inspired, so it kind of worked within the theme of the character. So basically, an evil Owl looking Batman. Obviously, this doesn't really look like Owlman, but until I can raise the combat rating of the character to 207, it's gonna be a while before I can actually purchase the official Owlman style. Although here I can have the Owlman emblem, so it's a start. As some with some other characters, I don't have that many Owlman base items just yet, but it's a work. Again, it's a work in progress. I have a few statues. I have the Owlman signal, and here too. So again, this is one of my, let's say, I created that character not that long ago, so obviously the base items, I don't have all the base items that I need. But again, I see this universe online as a sprint, as a marathon, not a sprint. So in the long run, I should be able to make up a cool looking base for our friend Allman. Here you can see it's one of the bases that uses the sparring target. Technically, I have three type of bases. One base is that will have like a mailbox, bank, teleporter, but then it will have some of the bases will have the sparring target and the respect station. Some of the bases will have the broker, and some of the bases will have the crafting station and the R&D vendor. So in this case, as you can see, this is one of my training bases. Here we have my evil Yellow Lantern Batman. And as you can see, I was able to use the fact that we got a Dark Spectre set of gear, like the new Dark Spectre 2018 set of gear. I was able to use it to be able to give the Dark Spectre look to my evil Yellow Lantern. Normally, it's not something that's an option because you have to be a hero in order to be able to purchase the Dark Spectre suit from the Watchtower. So unless you're really lucky and get the style from the Prometheum logboxes, sadly this was pretty much the only way to be able to give the style to the character. As you can see, I'm not using the Dark Spectre boots. The Dark Spectre boots look a little bit too funky. And of course, I'm using a mixture of Batman Beyond and the Speed Metal set of gear, which give us a pretty nifty looking Batman character, if you ask me, and a pretty nifty looking evil Yellow Lantern Batman. And of course, I have a look using the Yellow Lantern emblem that we can get from Prometheum lockboxes, or now that we can get from the broker actually. I probably should have a bit more yellow. I guess I'll have to work on that look a bit more. We'll see. And of course, with the new materials we got lately, I had to make a gold version, and I thought the gold version of the Dark Spectre suit was kind of neat looking. It looks a bit better when you're like in Metropolis with the daylight, but I think it still looks pretty nifty. Like in the cave lair, the lighting is pretty dark, so the gold looks a lot less shiny than it does when we're, let's say, in Metropolis with the nice sunlight. And of course, for this layer, I'm using a mixture of Batman base items or Batman items we could get from the Earth 3 DLC, and of course some Yellow Lantern base items. Of course, like a lot of my bases, this is still a base under construction, I suppose we could say. So there's plenty of room to add more decorations. So as time goes by, as I get more and more decorations, I should be able to improve this base slowly but surely. And here, as you can see, this is a base where I do my crafting. Now again, you can see the teleporter almost kind of works, but if you, as you see up there, not yet. It's still a little too big to actually fit within the negative portal, or the antimatter portal, I should say. And here we have my evil Ultraman character. Sadly, I did not give this character the Ultraman cape. I used the Ultraman cape for my multiverse character. So I guess I'm gonna have to manage to get another cape for this little guy. Again, like a lot of things, it's a work in progress. So in the short term, yeah, I don't have the cape just yet. But in the long term, I will get the cape for this little guy. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. I made a few variations. Sadly, the variations are not that big. And as you can see, I used the Stalwart Defender chest in order to be able to have a nice big Ultraman emblem. I've used the gold on the belt. That's pretty much the only thing I was able to make gold on this look. But again, this character is pretty much a work in progress. I guess I'm going to need a few other styles to be able to customize my Ultraman character properly. But for now, it works well enough. Again, the scuba gear or the scuba style is a style that I use quite a lot. It's one of the few styles where you can actually have the hands without the chest piece covering the hands. So if you want to have a character that doesn't wear gloves and that has hands, essentially, the scuba style is a perfect style for that. And here, obviously, I'm using the classic cape as opposed to the torn cape. And of course, the Ultraman emblem, you have to use it. I probably should try to make a version maybe without boots or something. I guess I'll have to keep working on it. Of course, the best version is this one with the Sinistral glove. and the big emblem thanks to the Stalwart Defender chest. And of course, this is one of those bases that is under construction. Of course, you have the nice Crime Syndicate emblem table with the Crime Syndicate emblem, and of course, there's the awesome Ultraman statue. This is one example where there's the coins of course. And this is one example where I used the big version of the statue in the lair. And this is pretty much the only place where the statue fits in the lair. So if you decide to have the big statue in your lair, that's what happens. That's what it looks like. I have a few statues of Gordon, and the coins. I have quite a few of those coins. As you can see, still quite a lot of room to improve the space. And that's one of those bases where I use the sparring target. And here we have the evil Superboy Prime. This is pretty darn close to the look that the character had at the start of the Green Lantern Sinestro War. So it was pretty sweet it was quite a surprise when the character first appeared. It was in the first, there was a one-shot with Sinestro, and at the very end of this one-shot, that's where we saw a few key members of what would become the Sinestro Corps, and somehow Superboy Prime was involved. There was also the Anti-Monitor and the evil cyborg Superman. So this is pretty much as close as I was able to get to the look that the Superboy Prime had, where he had an odd mixture of the Superboy look, the Anti-Monitor look, and the Yellow Lantern look, or the Sinestro Corps look, I should say. So I was able to recreate a pretty nice version of that look, thanks to playing an evil villain and being in DC Universe Online. Here we had the look that the character had in Countdown. Basically, there was this series called Countdown to Final Crisis, I think it was called, or Countdown, yeah, something like that. And sadly, we had a version of Superboy Prime that was 10 kinds of awful, but the look he had, black and white, that was actually pretty cool. And black in this universe online looks really sweet on quite a lot of styles, and here I thought it looked really nice. And if you're wondering how an evil character can have the Superman cape, that's because I was able to get it from there was a pack that PlayStation Plus gave to their members, and within that pack there was a House of L set of gear, and the cape came from that. And here you can see I was able to mix and match the House of L set of gear with the Anti-Monitor set of gear to give us a pretty good version of Superboy Prime as he looked in Infinite Crisis, if I'm not mistaken. So again, normally you should be able to get that chest and that back piece if you're playing an evil villain, but thanks to the set of gear that we got, thanks to the starter pack that was given on PlayStation Plus some time ago, I was able to have a nice Superman chest piece and a nice Superman cape for my evil Superboy Prime. And of course, there is the classic look. In this case, I used the scuba chest piece and of course the new Genesis pants. But I was able to recreate pretty much a classic Superboy look, which is what the character used originally. And of course, this is the version where I'm using the Kryptonian powers, or at least as many of those as I can. I wish we had an actual Kryptonian power set, but what can you do? As you can see, this is one of my lair that don't have many decorations just yet. But in the long run, I should be able to get what I need. There's quite a few Kryptonian decorations I could get. There's quite a few decorations like from Kandor that we can have access to. There was a few also items like a door to the Fortress of Solitude, Sadly, I'm not sure if I either still have some of those for sale on the broker. I would have to look it up. And this is one of the better option where I was able to turn the teleporter into an antimatter portal. So again, depending on which teleporter you use or which base you use, depending on the teleporter you have access to, sometimes you can do a pretty good job covering the teleporter with the anti-monitor portal. So this is one of the better options. And here we have my Joker-inspired character. And we have my Grumpy Cat, which is all kinds of grumpy. It took me quite a while before I had a Joker-inspired character. Basically, I had a hard time justifying any characters being crazy enough to actually work for the Joker. But then at some point, I knew that I had to create at least one character mentored by the Joker. So I thought, well, let's make ourselves a crazy mental Joker character, and here we are. So basically, with this character, I'm using mental powers. And also I'm using dual pistols. I know that the Joker at some point was using a crowbar. Although he did use dual pistols. There's one of the legend character Joker that uses dual pistols. So I guess it kind of works. Here he has mostly bombshell Harley Quinn styles. It's not how the character was created at first, but that's how it evolved. And also, I had called him Mad Jack originally because I was thinking more Jack in the Box, like a Mad Jack in the Box, if it makes any sense. But then once we got to the Halloween seasonal, I realized that one thing that would be awesome would be to give him a pumpkin head, which made it the Jack and Mad Jack works for either a Mad Jack in the Box or a Mad Jack o' Lantern. So either way, I thought it kind of worked for the character. The style will probably evolve as time goes by. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. I love using those little wings. Also, one of the reasons why I created this character, first I wanted to. At the time, I had my Magneto character that was using mental powers, but it was using telekinetic powers. So I wanted to have also a mental character that could use illusion powers. So I created him as sort of the opposite of what my Magneto character was at the time. And also, I love those little wings. So I thought I needed at least one character using those little wings. So I thought that this character could be it. I should probably tweak this version of the style so that we can actually see the nice emblem in the back of the character. I guess we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to try and find an alternative version for the back piece. And this is one of my bases where I usually put in pumpkins and stuff like that. I have the crazy cat here, obviously, and you can see also all the investigations or briefings. I'm not sure, which, as you can see, drives the cat nuts. And also, whenever I have Playhouse's base items, this is pretty much where they go, obviously. There's quite a few base items I could try to add to this layer. So I guess, again, like most of my layers, this is pretty much a work in progress, but it's getting there. Again, I love this portrait. Next Halloween, I should try to get a lot more of those. And of course, I got a nice poster. And sadly, I don't have all I need to be able to create an antimatter portal, but we'll get there someday. And here we have my composite Batman character. Obviously, this is inspired by the composite Batman Superman character, or is it Superman Batman? I always forget. Obviously, I'm not able to create a character that is half Batman and the other half Superman. But by mix and matching styles from both characters, I thought I was able to make something that looks really sweet, and that gives the idea that this is a Batman Superman amalgam character. And obviously, to give him the powers of the Legion of Superheroes, I gave him mental powers and then blasters. And I created another armory not too long ago. It's completely different than what I had in mind, but I thought it kind of worked. And also, I wanted to have at least one character that will use this Batman Superman t-shirt. So I thought that this was a good opportunity to be able to do that. Again, pretty much a mismatch, a mixed match of Batman and Superman items. Like the t-shirt obviously is Batman and Superman, the cowl is Batman, the gloves are Batman, but the belts and the back piece, that's pure Superman. Again, if you're wondering how I got the cape on an evil character, uh, basically I was lucky enough to get this cape from a Prometheum logbox. The odds of getting such item from the Prometheum logbox are really, really slim. So if you're lucky enough to be able to get it, you should enjoy it because it's not that obvious. And this is one of the layers that still need quite a lot of decorations. Again, you can see I have a few Batman versus Superman posters, but that's pretty much all I have other than the orrery, Batman, a few Batman a few bat signals. So that's one of those bases that have room for a lot of improvement. We'll get there in the long run. This is my evil Ocean Master character. I was able to tweak it with the gold material a bit. In the long run, once I manage to get more styles, I should be able to tweak it a bit more. Obviously, I can use the awesome water aura. I forget the actual name. The seafoam aura. And of course, the glowing, the enhanced version of the Aquaman emblem, which is, I always thought it was A for Aquaman. Turns out it seems to be A for Atlantis, so it kind of works still with an evil villain character, especially one who's trying to conquer Atlantis. I wanted to create another character that would be inspired by Black Manta, but I was starting to have a little too many characters, so I had to, let's say, mush some characters together, and this is a perfect example of that. So basically, instead of creating two characters, an Ocean Master and a Black Manta character, I created one character that would encapsulate both characters. So I'm going to use like swords with this armory, and obviously the staff, and eventually the Aquaman trident with the other armory. We have a Black Manta set of gear once we reach tier 5, so I might purchase that. But also there's the Deluge DLC that's coming up, and I'm pretty certain we're gonna have a Black Manta set of gear in that DLC. So I should be able to get a nice Black Manta set of gear in that DLC. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. And of course, as you can see, I purchased a couple of splash pack with this character. Of course, obviously I got the Throne of Atlantis or something like that for this character. Some nice evil looking sharks. Holy crap, they look good. I'm not sure about that water thing. I'll probably just remove it. Once I manage to get more than enough base items, I'll probably remove at least that base item. I love those swirling effects. When they created the blue water power, they made a good job. They made a good job with most of the visual effects. There's a few glitches, I guess, as like you can see, but other than that, I think it looks. Overall, these items look really nice. And of course, the water power does look pretty cool. Looks a bit better. Well, let's go DPS for this one. Looks a bit better, like this shark attack. Holy crap, do I love it. I should probably play a lot more with this character. I haven't played with it as much as I should have. But some of the water effects looks really nice. And in the long run, obviously there's a few Atlantean-inspired pieces of gear I could give this character. And obviously there's also the Aquaman trident that I should be able to give it. I guess, again, like with a lot of characters, this is a work in progress. But sooner or later, we'll get there. And last but not least, we have the Tiger Wolf. I can already tell you, I'll probably delete this character before long. Basically, I wanted to have a character that was using plant powers. I don't have any of those. I was very, very, very tempted to create the evil plant man from Marvel. But I was able to restrain myself, at least so far. And also I wanted to create, I don't have any character that uses like cat skins. So I thought I'd use, I think it's the tiger skin. I'm not sure if it's the actual name. And obviously I'm using some of the gold and bronze material with this little guy. So either I'll decide to improve the look of the character a bit as I progress in the game, or I'll just delete it and recreate a new one. I'm still on the fence about this little guy. But basically, all I really wanted, I wanted to have a character that can use plant powers. I also wanted to have a character that had gliding. I have a couple of characters that have gliding, but not that many. Not gliding, skimming. I have a few characters that have skimming, but not that many. So I thought I could have at least one more character with skimming. And of course, at least one character with nature powers. This is pretty much the only power I didn't have just yet. So I guess I tried to cram too many things in one character. The skimming, the nature powers, and the cat skin. So I might recreate a character removing one of those elements. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Although I almost kind of like it. I'll have to give it some thoughts. So that's pretty much it for my PlayStation villains. So again, I have a lot of characters. So before I can manage to make a video with all of them, it will take a while. And also it would be a pretty big video. So I decided to make instead to make shorter videos by splitting it in multiple parts. So here we have a video with my PlayStation 4 Villains. I will most likely make another video with my PlayStation 4 Heroes because my PlayStation 4 Heroes changed quite a lot since the last time I made a video with those characters. So I guess you could expect that. And obviously I will try to make a video with my PC Heroes and my PC Villains. Again, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, and if you have any questions, suggestion, demand, do so in the comment section down below and I'll see what I can do about that. So that's going to be it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.